بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كلام المجيد والفرقان الحميد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حتى إذا جاء أحدهم الموت قال رب ارجعون لعلي أعمل صالحا فيما تركت كلا إنها كلمة هو قائلها ومن ورائهم برزخ إلى يوم يبعثون. صدق الله العظيم. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: نعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Respected and honorable elders, young friends, mothers and sisters, Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatu. The famous Tabi'i Hasan Basri rahimahullah said something very beautiful in regards to a man's life. He said, a man's life is not except for ayyamun majmu'ah, a compilation of days. A man's life is not except a compilation of days. Once those days are over, man's life is also over as well. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah said very beautifully in regards to a person's life, and when we talk about a person's life, it includes seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months and years and decades. And for some people a century as well, if they're lucky. He says, in regards to time, you should cut time, otherwise it will cut you. Benefit from time, otherwise every second that passes by is cutting your life away. Is cutting your life away. How true is it? Why should a Muslim celebrate a birthday? Let's look at it from another angle. Let's say you made a big loss in your business. Let's say you made £1 million loss in your business. A person made £1 million loss in a business. After 1 year, anyone with a little bit of common sense, do you think they will celebrate that 1 year? Yes or no? 1 year after making the loss, exactly 1 year, the first anniversary of after making the loss, would anyone invite people, get together, have food and have a birthday cake, have a cake and celebrate? Yes or no? No. My dear brothers and sisters, our life has no price. It is priceless. The life we have, the seconds we have, it is priceless. Every year when we have 1 year older, it means that another year of our life has passed away. What's there to celebrate? It is a loss. We have lost something. And every year that goes by, we're talking about years, because otherwise we could talk about a second, an hour, a day, a month, a week. We could talk about, but every year, is it really worth celebrating the fact that you are getting 1 year closer to your death. What about thinking of that like that? Every year that passes, is a person getting closer to their death or far away from the death? Tell me. It's a simple question. They are getting closer to their death. So if you are getting closer to your death, is it worth celebrating? No. But yet we have some people who celebrate. May Allah guide us all. May Allah give us this kind of understanding. And it is not Islamic. It is, we do not, if there was someone's birthday which would have been worthy of celebrating, it would have been the birthday of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes? But even the companions didn't celebrate his birthday. Last week we discussed a hadith, a very beautiful hadith in which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to capitalize, to take advantage, to benefit. He told us to capitalize, to benefit, to take advantage of 5 things before the coming of another 5 things. The first 2 we discussed. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, take advantage and capitalize of 5 before 5. Number 1, your youth before your old age. I mentioned last week that in this hadith, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at number 5, he says, take advantage of your life before death comes to you. Take advantage of your life before death comes to you. Your whole life, from the time you reach puberty till you die, take advantage of those moments and the entire time period. And that included the youth. The youth, when a person's faculties are at its prime, his health, his senses, his passion, his drive, everything is at its prime and peak. Yes? And I also said last week that to truly appreciate and understand what youth is, you have to ask an elderly person. A youth will not truly appreciate or understand or realize this blessing he or she may have. But I would suggest that every youth should go to an elderly person and ask them that, please tell me, how should I spend my youth? How should I take advantage of my youth? How should I capitalize from my youth? Because the elderly have passed this stage. How much they have benefited, Allah knows, but these are the people who can truly make you understand. So I would advise every person who is young to meet an elderly person who is beyond 40 and ask them how valuable the youth is, so that you may not make the same mistake other people may have made, which is to waste your youth. And what is more beautiful about the youth, I'll tell you how important the youth is. In this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, capitalize from your youth before you become old. And in the same hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, capitalize and take advantage of your life before death comes to you. In another hadith narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, which we find in Jami'u Tirmidhi, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that the feet of the son of Adam will not move until he is asked 5 questions on the day of judgment. In other words, on the day of judgment, every single person will be asked 5 questions, and a person's feet will not move until he or she answers these 5 questions. And what is amazing, the first question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us is عَنْ عُمْرِهِ فِيمَا أَفْلَاهِ. And the second one, وَعَنْ شَبَابِهِ فِيمَا أَبْلَاهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask every single person about his or her age. Allah will say, how did you pass your age? How did you spend your life in the dunya? Yes, your entire life. Now, entire life also included the youth. Yes? But the second question specifically, which we shall have to give account of, Allah will say, how did you spend your youth? You see how important the youth is, how precious it is, how precious. The things you can do in your youth, you cannot do afterwards. Whatever dreams a person has, aspirations a person has, a goal a person has, dream a person has, there is a more chance of that person fulfilling it whilst they are young. Nowadays you find more and more young people who are becoming millionaires as well. Yes, although I'm not encouraging this, but I'm just saying it's a fact. It's a fact. The more and more people nowadays are becoming millionaires in their young age. Because they had this aspiration, they had this dream, and their health supported them, their senses, which was working in full throttle, was supporting them, their free time, which they had, supported them, and all these things put together, they were able to reach their target, their goal, their dream, their aspiration. My dear brothers and sisters, we should have similar goals and aspirations in regards to deen as well. The ibadah and the worship and the servitude which a young person does is extremely beloved to Allah. And I'm not undermining the ibadah of an old person, na'udhu billah. But there's a reason why. Because when a person is young and they are in their youth and they have the desire to do this and that, and they have aspirations to do this and that, and they have so many more distractions than an elderly person as well. They have so many more distractions. Yes or no? Yet, besides having distractions in their life, besides being bombarded with the social media and the corruption of the social media, they still fight their nafs, they still fight their desires and their ego, and they are still ready to submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is a great and a tremendous thing to do. This is why the worship and the ibadah of a young person is so much beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as well as having worldly aspirations and goals, we should also have dreams and aspirations and targets in regards to deen as well, deeni matters as well. You know, there's one hadith very beautifully, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that when a person has a habit of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and doing extra deeds, optional deeds, whatever it may be. Yes, we're not talking about the faraid, we're talking about the optional deeds. A person from a young age, until they are old, they have a certain, many people, they have a routine of doing certain acts of worship, whether it is fasting or giving charity or doing dhikrullah or the recitation of the Quran or any other extra optional deed, and they continue this throughout their life until a time comes when, for whatever reason, they are unable to do it. For example, they become too old or they become ill, and now they are not able to do those optional deeds Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still reward that person. Allah will still reward that person. It's like a pension. At a certain age you stop working, but the government still gives you funding, whatever it may be. So, mashallah, I can see today there are many brothers who are young, and you are in your youth until which age? Until you are 40. Until you are 40, it's like you are climbing the mountain. After 40, you are slowly coming down the mountain. But the peak and the prime age, like we discussed last week, is 33, which is the age of every person in Jannah, 33. So, although I haven't continued last week's hadith, I shall do a quick translation of another hadith which I mentioned in the khutbah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Ni'matani maghbunun fihima kathirun minan nas." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says there are two blessings, two great blessings, which people are in a severe loss. Maghbun is from the word ghaban in Arabic. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't say loss. He said they are in a great loss. And how many people did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that it will be less people or will it be more people? What did he say? Unfortunately, he said most people. And if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says most people, then it will be most people. We have to make dua that we are not from those most people. It's a very powerful hadith. He says there are two blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which most people are in a severe loss. In other words, they will not benefit from it. They will not capitalize from it. They will let it pass without benefiting from it. Number one, your good health. Whilst you have good health, don't let it pass. Don't think your good health will stay with you forever. It goes even against the ethics of science as well. Does anyone stay young forever? No. We don't know when a person will fall ill. Just literally 2 hours ago, my wife received a phone call that one of our family friends in Mumbai, she's probably my age, she's had a liver failure. How old is she? She's my age, 45, 46, 47. She's had a liver failure. Do you think she woke up today knowing that today I'm going to have a liver failure? Do you think she knew that? So we don't know until when will our good health stay with us. And I said last week, health is wealth. As long as you've got health, wallahi, you have wealth. That is one of the greatest and biggest gifts you can have, is good health. So the first blessing which people will be in a great loss, will not value, will not benefit from, will be good health. And number two, wal-faragh, good free time. Free time means you have opportunity to do things, you let it pass. You let your free time pass. Doing what? Doing what? Netflix. Doing what? There's no point, further down in your life, when you've passed your peak and then you start wishing that, oh, I had 1, 2, 3 years in between and I should have done this and I should have done that. I should have. My dear brothers and sisters, saying I should have will not benefit, will not help you. Just do it. If you have time, do it. Because this opportunity will not come again. I don't think so. Allah knows best. We had a lot of free time during lockdown. And mashallah, a lot of people did do a lot of positive things during lockdown. I can remember watching a video, a young girl, probably the age of 8 or 9 or 10, or I think it was her, or it was a person, they memorized the Quran in lockdown. Yes, whether we'll have another lockdown like that, well, Allah knows best. Let's hope not. But a lot of people did do a lot of constructive and positive things and good things in lockdown because they had the time. A lot of people may have finished so many movies in Netflix, and that's how they passed and wasted their time. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding, the realization to value, to benefit, to capitalize from our good health and from the free time. Inshallah, we'll continue